Hello and welcome back. So let's go back to our shop page here. Okay, so the shop page is the one that we put our dummy PayPal buttons here. But before we take them to the actual checkout page, let's see how this thing would run. Once the user approves the transaction, they need to be redirected to the thank you page, right? So let's make that happen. So what we will do is go back to our text editor and let's go to our views and let's go down to the shop.php view. Now, right here where we put our script for the PayPal, if you look closely here, we have these functions that are right here. Okay, great. Now, the thing is, there's a function here called onApprove. Now, this is what will run once the transaction is approved. And this is what will run once the transaction has gotten an error. Okay, but you can add one more here, which is on cancel, actually. Duplicate this. Just take note that between these, there are commas here. So take note of those commas and add them there like that. So we have on error and let me add on cancel. Now, of course, you can go to the documentation and see everything is written down in the PayPal documentation, developer.paypal.com, and you will see what all these functions actually do. So here I will put the word data because it does receive some data, but it shouldn't really be a problem. So all it says here is that do a console.log and save whatever data comes back here, but instead I want it to redirect to a specific page. Now here on approval, what happens is it sends an alert that transaction completed by so and so, and in this case it just gets the details. And this, if you look at this this chain here, this is exactly the chain we have when we come to, where is this, the thanks here. You see the pair name here, the pair where is that, given name, right? There is resource, which is the item, and then there is pair name, given name. So if you look at that, this is exactly what we have here. The details is the resource, pair name, given name. So it's only getting the name of whoever did the transaction from this detail thing here. So what this means is that this details variable contains this data that we actually sent. The same data that is sent to the webhook is also contained here. So if you wanted to, you could save this data as backup as well, just by running an Ajax request right here. But currently it just tells the browser to show an alert once the transaction is done. So let's see how that is working currently. So if I click on the PayPal button here, I get this, and then there's the, you use your sandbox, make sure you're using the sandbox email there for the buyer, and let's add our password here and let's hit enter. So once this starts loading, actually this is the page before the accept payment. So pay now, let's say the user says pay now. Okay, pay now. So the thing is, what's happening here is that it keeps processing here, and if I come back to here, you see it says that transaction completed by test. So this is on the actual website, and when I click that, everything disappears. The reason it does that is because there's an alert here which says transaction completed by, but this is not what we want to do. So instead, let's do something else. Let's redirect the user to the thank you page. So here we're just going to say window.location.href is equal to, and then let's add our link there. Now we do have a root variable, but it's in PHP and it's not in this JavaScript, because this is JavaScript here. So we can still echo some JavaScript inside. So we're echoing this as a variable, as a value for a variable here, because what happens is the PHP is going to be processed first. So by the time this document gets to the browser, there won't be PHP tags here. There will be an actual value from PHP, which the JavaScript is going to accept as a value for this location here. So let's put that equal sign and put root there. Put a dot to concatenate, and then let's add, I'll add some inverted commas and add what's the name? Thanks. That's the page, right? Thanks. And then I will close those PHP tags like so. Okay, that's about it. So now let's go to the thanks page itself, and this is what it has here. So we don't need this part anymore. We don't want to print any of this. So maybe you want to use this for debugging later on, so you can keep it. But for now, I will remove all this here. But maybe for debugging. Okay, so let me leave this for now, just in case we may need that. So I'm just going to comment all of these things out. We may need to display username or whatever it is, because if we have the data, let's come back here for a second, because if we have the data in these details here, it means we can add some get variables at the very end here, which we can receive inside the thanks.php. And once we receive them, we can display them to the user and say, oh, thank you for paying this much to this account, etc., etc. So we can do that. But for now, let's leave it at that. Now, I want to add a get variable at the end because I want to use the same thanks page to send the cancel or on error as well. So I'm going to put a get variable at the end and just say mod. You can call it anything. Mod is equal to approved, like this. So at this point I know this is approved, so that's all good. And so for now, if I go back here and let me refresh the page, so keep in mind this is the localhost version that we are running here. We are not on the online version. This is the localhost. So if I now try to pay, so pay, let's give it a minute there. Come on, PayPal. Okay, I'll click pay now because even before it loads, impatience, pay now. Okay, so you may be asked to log in, of course, if this is not your first, or if it's your first time clicking on it. So processing, let's see what happens. Oops, it has redirected. Let's try that again. I didn't quite catch that. So back here again, let's try one more time. Okay. Come on, internet. You're letting me down. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'll click on the pay now. Let me give it a minute to actually load the content here. Maybe that's why last time it just skipped over everything. Okay, so okay, there we go. So details, balance, ship to. Okay, pay now. So there we go. Processing. I'll leave it be now. So it just, let's see if it. Normally it's supposed to close this window and then redirect the user in the browser. So let's see if that's going to actually happen. It's taking its time. Obviously my terrible internet connection here is playing a part. Come on. Okay, so at this point I'm not sure if it has frozen over, or I think my internet is quite bad, because I can see here it's telling me no internet access, so that's probably the issue. Okay, so let me cancel this for a second. I'm going to wait for my internet there, but while I wait for the internet to come back, let's do exactly what we've done here. So I'm going to copy this window.location and let's go to the console version here. So I'm going to add this there and change the mode to console like that. We're not using the modes yet, but I just want to see what happens when I cancel it and when an error occurs. So we're going to paste that as well. Let me paste this here and then let's say error. Now we can get the error itself and display it on the other side, but for now let's just see what those things do. Looks like the internet is back as well. Let me refresh. Otherwise, if the internet isn't back, these buttons won't load. So let me click here and let me try and cancel this and see what happens. So I will cancel that. Okay, so it has sent me to thanks for shopping with us, even though I have cancelled because that's what I told it. Let me go back here and let's try to actually pay. Okay. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, there we go. Let me give it a minute to load. Well, let's see what happens. Choose a way to pay to continue. Yeah, this is really slow internet here. I don't know what's really going on. Okay. Yeah, we're having trouble. You think? Okay, while that is happening, let's deal with this issue of modes, cancel and error. So if we go to the shop, that's the thanks.php, so we have this message right here. So what I can do is copy several of these, and then on this one I'm just going to say an error occurred. Payment unsuccessful or something. I don't know. Payment unsuccessful. Okay, and then the other one, payment was cancelled. Okay, and then thanks for shopping with us. So these are the possible messages we can get. Now we can just use the PHP get variable. So I'm going to say if is set. So if is set get mode like that, and let's do the and get mode be equal to approved like this. So if that is true, let's put a full colon, close that. Let's push this in a little bit. And then at this point, I will put PHP and if, close that. Now, I think let me move the end if to the very end here. That makes more sense. Instead here, I will put an else and make sure you change the semicolon to a full colon there. Let's put an else if statement. So let me just copy everything here, put it there, and then put an else here. Else if mode is set and mode is equal to cancelled. Wait, how did I write it in here? Cancel. That was it. So let's try cancel like this. And then again, excuse me, I will copy this and paste it here and use the, what's the other one? Error, like so. Okay, very good. So here we get different messages depending on what the situation is. Okay, pretty good. So let's come back here and test it on. So of course I'm going to close that. Payment was cancelled. Oh, that was quick. So let's go back and let's try that again. So click on payment and close that immediately. Okay, payment was cancelled. Good. Now let's try and actually pay. So pay. Hopefully this time the internet will work. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah. You know, you can actually grow gray hairs waiting for this internet connection. But that's okay. Payment, pay now. Okay, so that's gonna work, I hope. Oh, there we go. Thanks for shopping with us. Very good. Alrighty then. So everything here is working fine. So it seems. So you can put any message that you want. And also keep in mind that if we come back here, you have details here of the username, etc., etc. You can get them from here, and you can add them to the URL here on the get variable. You can add name, whatever it is, and then once you come back to the thanks here, you can actually grab those items from the get, just the way we are getting the approved or cancel here, and then add them to your message as well, just like we can do with the error. All right, so far so good. Now what we need to do is actually combine everything we've gathered so far and make a working system on the online version. All right, so I will see you in the next video.